Complex economic analysis. Annual food self-sufficiency of a 10-person Iranian extended family. How can a 10-member rural family produce approximately 6,000 kilograms of food per year for themselves while achieving significant financial benefits? This model assumes 2 parents, 6 children, and 2 grandparents, and demonstrates what self-sufficiency truly means. The foundation of the diet is rice and wheat. Approximately 600 kilograms of rice are needed annually, requiring about 0.2 hectares of arable land. This corresponds to the size of a small agricultural plot. It is important that rice grows in standing water, so it is especially advantageous if a natural water source, such as a stream or permanent watercourse, is located near the rice field. In drier areas, rice cultivation is less efficient. In such cases, wheat, barley, or other crops with lower water requirements can replace it, which also reduces the effects of fluctuations in water supply. The market value of rice is approximately 60 to 90 million tomon, which may equal several months of income for a rural family. In the case of self-production, the cost is roughly 20 to 30 million tomon. The annual quantity of wheat is approximately 700 kilograms, requiring about 0.25 hectares of land, corresponding to a medium-sized cultivated area. Its market value is approximately 35 to 50 million tomon, while self-production costs around 15 to 20 million tomon. The advantage of wheat is that it can provide relatively stable yields even in less favorable years, contributing to the balance of the system. The annual quantity of vegetables and traditional sabzi is approximately 900 kilograms, requiring about 0.2 hectares of cultivated land of similar scale. Their market value can reach 90 to 120 million tomon, which may equal the total annual food expenditure of many families, while in self-production this represents approximately 30 to 50 million tomon in costs, especially when irrigation is consistently available or partially controllable. Fruit consumption is also approximately 900 kilograms per year, requiring roughly 30 to 40 fruit-bearing trees. This can be achieved on an area the size of a small orchard. Its market value is 100 to 150 million tomon, which may equal the price of a small car, while maintenance costs are approximately 30 to 40 million tomon. However, full productivity requires several years, which demands long-term planning. The annual quantity of legumes is approximately 600 kilograms, requiring about 0.1 hectares of land, corresponding to a small independent plot. Their market value is 40 to 60 million tomon, while self-production costs approximately 20 to 25 million tomon. At the same time, their role in crop rotation supports the long-term fertility of the soil. The annual quantity of chicken meat is approximately 380 kilograms, requiring the keeping of about 200 chickens. This corresponds to a medium-sized poultry yard. Its market value is 90 to 120 million tomon, which equals several months of a family's income. With self-production, the cost is approximately 50 to 70 million tomon and can be sustainably maintained with proper feed supply. The annual quantity of milk and yogurt is approximately 300 kilograms, requiring 1 cow or about 5 goats. Their market value is 30 to 40 million tomon, while self-production costs approximately 20 to 25 million tomon, taking into account the continuous care required for the animals, which can be managed efficiently with proper routine. The annual quantity of eggs is approximately 180 kilograms, requiring 15 to 20 laying hens. Their market value is 20 to 30 million tomon, while self-production costs approximately 10 to 15 million tomon, providing balanced yields under proper conditions. The annual quantity of red meat is approximately 42 kilograms, requiring the keeping of 2 to 3 lambs. Its market value is 30 to 50 million tomon, while self-production costs approximately 20 to 30 million tomon, primarily as a supplementary component. In total, this means that the market value of the entire annual food consumption is approximately 500 to 700 million tomon, which may equal several years of income for a rural family. With self-production, this cost can be maintained between approximately 200 and 300 million tomon, especially if the system operates in a balanced way over multiple years. This means that the family may save the equivalent of the price of a small house within a few years. The total required arable land is approximately between 1.3 and 1.5 hectares, corresponding to a compact and well-organized economic unit. However, for safety, approximately 3 hectares is more realistic, which can already be considered a more spacious property with reserve land included. This is where the real breakthrough becomes visible. The difference can represent annual savings of approximately 200 to 400 million tomon. However, the key to the operation of the system is technology and water. Iran is an arid and semi-arid country. Water is one of the most decisive factors in the system. Agriculture may use up to 90% of water resources. Due to high temperatures, evaporation is significant, and open water surfaces cause water loss, which can be effectively reduced with proper storage and covering solutions. The actual water demand of such a farm is approximately 1,000 to 3,000 cubic meters annually, and in the case of a larger livestock population, it may reach 2,000 to 5,000 cubic meters. This corresponds to approximately 20,000 to 60,000 showers. The water supply consists of multiple tanks. A cylindrical tank with a diameter of 10 meters and a height of 3 meters can store approximately 235 cubic meters of water. This corresponds to several thousand days of water usage. To ensure annual water demand, typically 8 to 15 such tanks are required, especially in drier areas. This system is modular. It does not need to be built all at once. It can be started with 1 or 2 tanks and gradually expanded, allowing step-by-step adaptation. In areas with less precipitation, filling the tanks is slower and may take several years. In consecutive dry years, water reserves may decrease, so larger storage capacity and reserve planning increase system stability. The tanks should preferably be constructed underground or insulated, and covered with a cone-shaped roof to reduce evaporation. If the tanks are positioned at a higher elevation, gravity provides water pressure, reducing energy demand. The water collection area is ideally several hectares, but in reality it is often smaller, so in many cases the inclusion of supplementary water sources is justified for long-term security. In this system, water is not simply a resource but a living bank deposit. Energy supply is provided by a solar panel system. Approximately 30 panels are required. This corresponds to the roof area of a family house. The system produces approximately 50 to 80 kilowatt-hours of energy per day. Energy production varies seasonally. In winter, it may drop by up to half, meaning daily production may decrease to 30 to 50 kilowatt-hours. This is primarily sufficient for basic household needs such as lighting, communication, and small electrical devices. Agricultural production is minimal or paused during this period, so energy demand is also lower, balancing the system. The cost of the system, including batteries, is approximately 500 to 800 million Tomans. The total technological investment is between 1.5 and 2 billion Tomans. This corresponds to the price of a small urban apartment, while for a rural family it may represent the income of multiple generations. The return on investment is typically between 2 and 6 years, depending on water availability and production efficiency. Livestock farming requires additional expansion. For 100 sheep or goats, 3 to 5 hectares of irrigated pasture are required, corresponding to several connected grazing areas. For 200 animals, this increases to 6 to 10 hectares. The winter period lasts 3 to 5 months. The feed requirement for 100 animals is 20 to 30 tons. This corresponds to approximately 250 to 375 80-kilogram sacks. For 200 animals, this is 500 to 750 sacks. The land required for feed production is 2 to 3 hectares for 100 animals, which is an important consideration in system sizing. This system is more economical than nomadic livestock keeping. The nomadic system depends entirely on weather conditions. An unfavorable year can cause significant losses. In a settled system, water and feed can be stored, making production more predictable and plannable. Nomadic farming requires continuous movement, which consumes time and energy. In a settled system, animals develop faster and produce higher yields. Feed can be produced locally, significantly reducing costs. The effects of a dry year can be mitigated. Reserves and storage capacity help bridge difficult periods. Livestock farming provides an additional significant source of income. A herd of 100 sheep or goats can generate an additional annual income of approximately 100 to 300 million Tomans. For 200 animals, this may reach 200 to 600 million Tomans. This alone may exceed the total annual income of a rural family, with proper management. The key to change is a working example. Farmers adopt new systems when they see that they truly work. The greatest challenge remains water supply, which can be managed with proper planning and storage capacity. Technology is not a luxury but an investment. The role of the community provides a stable foundation. The listed factors do not represent weaknesses of the system but its natural operating conditions. With proper organization and experience, these effects can be effectively managed, making self-sufficiency a stable and economically rational long-term model. This model is not only about food. It is about survival. It is about independence. And it is about a future where the greatest value is water. 3 hectares of land, 8 to 15 water tanks, and 30 solar panels may be sufficient for a 10-person family to produce approximately 6,000 kilograms of food annually and retain a value of 200 to 400 million Tomans in their own hands, especially if the system is built gradually and consciously.